get married as an arranged, and then he's like, love, oh, love. He said it such a weird way in their accent, and I just thought it was funny, so I started saying it that way. Love.
I got you, okay. L is for the way you look at me.
O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. Yes, love is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two.
It's true, good love can make it.
Take my heart, but please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. That was a good one. I like that. We should record that.
Oh, it
Hey,
is
everybody.
recorded, girl.
Hey.
What's up, people?
It's your blurred girl, Bola, Triple F Queen Bola on the Mizike.
And it's your girl, No Tagline, Whitney, backing it up here on the Mizike.
Yes, and we are BlerdTalk with Bola and Whitney, as you
with
guys
these
know.
sick harmonies, y'all.
Yes. I'm not going to lie. We did work that out. We worked that out.
It was good.
Whitney, let me just high five that one. You know what I mean? Yes.
Yes.
That was beautiful. That was like one of our best song numbers. We just started the top of the pod. We just gonna sing it for you guys.
That's right.
Because we are in the month of love.
And Black Power.
And Black Power. And so
Actually, it's more like Black history and culture. But anyway.
I'm gonna put Black Power on it. Hey.
Hey, girl.
Exactly. So this is the month of Black Power and love. And so what did we decide to do today? Black love.
That's right. Black love, y'all. We doing Sylvie's love. And
Yes.
Needle in a Time Stack.
Yes, so we actually have two different kind of Black love movies to talk to you about today on this pod. And what I like is that one is like a period piece, and the other one is like a sci-fi piece.
Yeah.
And so we are excited to talk about the difference between the two of them and like how they talk about Black love and feature Black love. And so you guys just be in a lovey-dovey, saccharine sweet. Do I need to play Love Fool by the Cardigans from the 90s? Love me, say that you love me, fool me.
Go on and fool me.
I love that song. I get
do
all
love that
mushy
song.
inside, and I think of the Spice Girls, and just that period, like, what was I doing at the time? Anyway, but that's what we're going to be talking about today, y'all. So, happy Black History Month
Happy Black History Month,
for
y'all.
all my blurs and the non-blurs.
And
just
we
join
forgot
us.
to mention, I mean, if y'all are listening to it the day it comes out, this is a special episode, y'all.
Yes.
Because this is a Valentine's Day episode
Yes.
instead of a Thursday drop like usual. Y'all
Happy
get
Valentine's
a bonus
Day.
episode for February.
Yes.
Because it's Black History Month. And we both black.
Yes.
And we like, yes, girl. Let's just drip it all on them. Drip all the sauce on them.
Dripping all the sauce, all the beautiful sauce, sprinkling all the sweet tarts and sweethearts.
The sauce, the black girl magic, everything.
Everything. All right, y'all. So enough of us acting up and basically enjoying ourselves. But so we are excited. So this is our Valentine's episode, and we just want you guys to just sit back and we talk about love. Listen to us, laugh, sing along, like record your own harmonies and send it to us. We love to hear it. If you want to sing what we sang, go ahead and do that. Okay.
That's right, y'all. Sing along.
All right. So sit back and talk about love with us. Black love. All right. Now, I just want to say for everybody listening that also with our show, this is a show where the blurred perspective is there, but doesn't mean we do not accept non-blurreds to come and talk about things, give their opinions. This is not just like only a black show. No, this is just two blurred girls, black nerds.
That's right.
Talking about
We will
things.
provide the black perspective.
We provide the blackness.
So if somebody who is not like a black person or a minority or whatnot wants
if you
to,
white, you can come on here, okay?
come on.
If you Asian, you can come on here, and we've had that actually. We've
Yes.
had Asians on here, so
we provided the blurred part. So
We
y'all
provide
come
the
on
blackness.
down. If y'all want to come talk to us.
yes, we love to have
Tell me
guests.
something good.
No, you didn't you get there? Tell me that you like it, yeah. I feel like we sang this before.
We probably have. We have some that we probably come back to pretty often.
Oh
they just
my
apply
God,
to
man.
situations.
Okay, let's get into our blurred because we do got 2 movies to talk about today.
Oh,
so let's get into Blurred Out.
You go first, girl. You go.
Okay, I will go first. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie.
By the way, Bola G, I like your outfit. Not just your hair,
Thank
but your
you.
outfit. Y'all should
Thank
see her. Oh,
you.
maybe y'all see. Well, no, you won't see the full outfit with the Instagram post, but y'all should see it. It's a great outfit.
Thank you, God. Thank you so much, Whitney. You're the no tagline. You're the bomb.com. You know I'm the fashionista one. Anyway, but I'm blurting out. I just have some honorable mentions. So actually, I've been watching a lot of the Olympics. Not a lot, but just a little bit, and it's okay. So it's okay. But I've been watching that. Also, I wanted to shout out a show that I heard was really good about Black love. So this is like I haven't started watching it, but I want to start watching this. And I had listened to a podcast, and it was a podcast called For Colored Nerds. Huh. Yeah, so it's a podcast, basically other people like us, and they probably are in our age group, because me and you are kind of elder millennials. Over 30 millennials.
Eliza Schlesinger.
And yeah, we're the elder millennials. I got it from her. Because you have to distinguish. The ones born in the 90s are totally different from the ones born in the 80s, okay? It's just different. We were born in the 80s, so we are the elder millennials, and the 90s millennials got everything they wanted. We were the test tube babies, and they just like, okay, we'll perfect it on them. And then the Gen Z is just running amok. So we'll leave the centennials alone. But anyway.
Bitches running wild.
Yes. So they, I like that. So they have a podcast called For Colored Nerds, and it's a guy and a girl, and they talk about just different topics. So they don't really review movies. They just talk about different topics, really.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes they have guests talk about things. And on their podcast, they mentioned 2 things that I liked that is about Black History Month. I'm bringing it up for this very purpose. Because it's Black History Month, they talked about how they had a guest who made something called the Black Film Archive. So it's a website where you can go and there's a full list of Black movies that are made by Black people or about Black people or Black topics, made from like 1915 all the way to the 70s. And it's like an archive for you to go and just learn and soak it up and see what we actually had made, what people were doing, what we were doing from 1915 to the 70s.
Yeah.
And I think the person who made it, she's trying to expand it, but I would definitely go check out that episode, guys. It was in December. But it was called the Black Film Archive. But I mean, I went on the site and I looked it through there and I was like, wow, there's some old stuff on here that I didn't even realize was made and that Black people made. Because, you know, it was very limited in the 1915s.
Yeah.
They let us do nothing. But there's some stuff out there. So I think it's a great way to like go and learn. Since we're talking about Black love, we're going to talk about Black people in film right now.
Yeah.
And just the representation, just to see what was going on during that time and soak it up and learn. Because even me, I realized I had not watched a lot of Black films that a lot of Black people have watched, and probably because my family's not from America. So some of the things that people are like, yeah, we know this. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Whitney. That song you were talking about Silent Night, oh
my God. The Temptations, Silent Night?
I just heard it last year.
That is a Black culture staple.
I just heard that song last year. And I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to think that I did. Because they're like, in my mind. And I'm like, I do not know. The Silent Night I know was
next
the
time
ones...
you swipe, declined. Your Black card is declined.
My card is the blackest one because I'm African, okay? I got the original Black card, okay? Anyway, but I didn't want to tell you before because I was like, ooh, I've never heard this song.
Oh my God. And then it's like one of the greatest Christmas songs
I looked it up just to...
What do you think, though?
I like it.
It's awesome.
You know what? I didn't look it up. I heard it because my sister at the time, remember I talked about this on the Christmas podcast, that my sister was playing Christmas music while we were trying to put the tree together with my nieces. And I was like, get rid of this old school, like, we want something lively. And then I looked up Black Christmas carols or Black Christmas music. And so a whole list came out and their song was on there. And I remember hearing it from the kitchen and I was like, and I just love all the ad-libbing and everything. I was like, this song is good. But that was the first time I've heard it. It was last year. Wow. I'm telling you. So, sorry, but yeah. Anyway, the Black Film Archive, I think, is an awesome idea for this, especially those who really are really into film.
Sweet. Let's throw it in the show notes. Things. Let's throw the podcast episode and the actual link to the
I'm going to totally throw it in there.
Sweet.
And then they mentioned another show that I really want to get into, and it's called, I think, Love Life, and it has a black lead feature, and a lot of people are talking about this film. So
what's kind of the premise of it?
It's just like a love story, like TV show. It had a first season with Anna Kendrick. And then it's like they do it where the second season is about somebody totally different.
Oh, okay.
So this season they have a black lead, and everyone has been talking about how awesome this show is. But they were talking about how the guy. What I clued into was they were saying like the main character's name is Marcus. Mm-hmm. They were saying that this is who they wish Lawrence was from Insecure, and I was like. That's a little hefty. That's fighting words. You know, everyone loves Lawrence, and then you have the people that don't from Insecure. So for him to say that, he's like, they should have wrote Lawrence like this. I was like, oh, I gotta watch this. I wanted to watch it before the pod recording, but I did not get a chance to. It's on HBO, and I do plan on watching it. But they had awesome things to say about this. I had to turn it off because I didn't want them to spoil it for me because I wanted to experience it for myself. But I recommend you guys go watch Love Life on HBO. Yep. And then shout out to Target for, like, this is Black History Month. I will add this. Shout out to Target because they actually now have new, like, merchandise, cool clothing that actually features black art on it, like pictures, black faces, everything. I was very impressed when I went into Target to buy my niece a coat this past week.
That's cool.
We bought my niece's the shirt too.
I don't like faces on my stuff.
Oh, I don't mind. I love a good graphic tee and all that kind of stuff.
If it's like a IP character, like a Storm, a Spider-Man, something like that, I'm cool. But I don't want like some rando face on my shirt.
Well, not like it was cartoon. It was like.
I don't want a rando cartoon person on my shirt if they're just some random person.
I like it. Like the black art of the black girl and the hair. I love those things. I loved it. I will post my video about it later.
It's cool, like graphically, it's cool. But I just don't want like a rando on my shirt.
So you prefer like a regular tees. Like, what do you prefer on your shirts? Plain ones or?
I mean, I can do like, characters like the Muses sweatshirt that you gave me.
Oh, you have to know what it is.
Yeah, I don't want just some random person on there.
Oh, I like the graphic. I like it as a graphic because I just like it. It's a representation of blackness, and I like them. I think they're awesome, and they have other shirts that have words too.
I prefer different representations of it. Like if it's like a silhouette or something. I'm cool with that. Like Big Fro or something, but it's a silhouette. I'm cool, but I don't want just like a random like cartoon giant head on my shirt. I'm like,
oh
why?
My gosh, Whitney, you made it sound terrible.
I don't care if it's black, white. I just don't want some random
head on me.
Yeah, I'm just like, why?
Okay, so Whitney's not down, but I'm telling you guys, I had to give it to Target for actually doing it. I thought it was really nice. They had it on the bags. There was one shirt I really wanted, but I take points away from Target because they didn't have enough extended sizes, so I couldn't buy. Aww. Thanks a lot, Target.
What about
do
online?
Better for plus size? Yeah, it was online because I always do online.
Oh, okay.
For plus size, I always do online.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right, Target. But I had to give them the points for even doing it because I have never seen anything black. Target. I'm not gonna lie, Target is like not Target avec extra. Target is not a store I would consider a black store, but anybody can go in Target, but I don't really go there for stuff that much. So
I like their colors. Like they've got really, really bright colors, like from their home section and stuff. I feel like if you compare Walmart and Target, I feel like they have a more vibrant kind of like color palette available for their stuff.
Okay, I agree. They do have some nice things. They're not my favorite place to go, but I do go there if I need to.
I don't shop for clothes there, but I will look in there for like, towels or things like that.
I've gotten a few things in the past from there that were really nice because they had a wonderful summer scheme in like 2017 and 2018. It was really, I bought a dress and a shirt. It was really nice. Stuff was going on. And then they had a plus size section too, so I could get more things. They had like more extended sizes. They had like something called Ave and Viv. It was really great because, I'm all into the fashions. So, yep. But I would like commend Target for doing that because I think it's really nice to have something about Black history or like the phrases on their shirt is like it just promotes Black people loving themselves, wearing themselves, supporting themselves, and I think Black creators made that. So I just think it was awesome. So I give Target some props for that. Okay. Get the extended sizes for us for us fatties, okay? Get it, you know? And the last thing I will mention, and this will be over, is I went and had a duck brunch. This is a local Richmond spot.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can get Whitney to go so then we can like review it properly.
I don't know why you say that. Hopefully you can get me to go. I am down to go.
I know, but I went for brunch with one of our mutual friends, and it was a duck brunch where we ate duck.
Duck brunch.
She had a duck burger with something else mixed. It was like, I guess, meat mix anyway. But I had the duck and waffles.
You think it was me?
I mean, I'm not.
What is the question
you're
right here.
I think it was beef, but I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Because I was not trying to eat no burger. I was looking at the chicken and waffles, but it was duck and waffles. And I'm telling you, it was fantastic. Like, it was beautiful. Like, I had not eaten duck that way really before. And they had like Carolina hot sauce on it. So it was like spicy sweet. And the waffle was perfectly crisp on the outside and soft on the inside. Had really nice, not too sweet syrup. And then this blew me away. They had this awesome smoked. I asked for a side of egg. They put this smoked cheese on it because I asked for cheese. But they put the smoked cheese in the egg. And I'm telling you, that thing made that egg sing. Normally, when I go out, I have to put salt and pepper on everything because Africans don't like no bland food. I hate bland food. I can't do it. I literally will throw up in my mouth.
I think that's across the whole culture.
Yes, I can't. Some people can make it work. And it's okay for them, and they are fine with. But me, I'm like, add the salt and pepper before you cook it. What is the point? Why do I have to add salt and pepper afterwards? It's like insulting us. I have to add seasoning when you're supposed to put seasoning before you cook. That's how we think. So, but I'm used to that when going to the American store. But we make eggs differently. Ours are a whole meal.
That makes me think of the Chadwick Boseman Black Jeopardy.
Yeah. Oh, hell no, Karen. You can keep your bland. Keep your raisins to yourself. And he won Black Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live just for that. Y'all go look at. I'm gonna put
we'll put it in the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a clip for just so y'all can see what we're talking about. It was the best like Saturday Night Live clip in a long time. It was called Black Jeopardy. All the Black Jeopardy episodes are sketches are really funny, but his particular one.
Oh my god!
Actually,
hilarious.
I think my favorite one is the Tom Hanks one.
Oh, that one was good too. I really love the Chadwick.
But the Chadwick one was really awesome because he pretended to be T'Challa on Jeopardy. Anyway, but it was awesome. Like, I was floored, and the drink I had was really nice too. It was just, and I was like, I'm gonna have to come back here. Okay. I told them I would shout them out on our podcast, and I have pictures, so I'm gonna post them on our Instagram and Twitter. I'm gonna do that too. Okay. And then hopefully we can get Whitney to try it one day. We both go together. And then
I don't know why you say hopefully we can get Whitney to try it.
I mean,
Whitney
like, we can work it out that we can do it. We can do it like soon. You know what I mean?
You can do it. Put your back into it.
Oh my god, Whitney! You guys feel for me. I've been trying to keep us on task. Whitney has a song for everything you say. Anything you can say. That's why if you were playing a game with Whitney, a music game, Whitney would just be on it. She might not remember the name all the time, but she know the lyrics. Anyway, it's the Shaved Duck in Midlothian, Virginia. If y'all are listening, please go out there and get yourself some ducks. Some good ducks. And I'm like, you know what? I'm happy to eat the ducks because they got too much attitude. Ducks are arrogant to me.
Oh, you know what?
I'm happy
ducks
to eat
are
them.
Not just they are straight up gangster.
Geese, they're cousins. The geese
you're right. You know
super
what?
gangster.
I can't remember if
they're
ducks
the
are
most
super
hood birds ever in
yes,
the world.
Geese will walk across the street, look at you as you
like,
are in your car, your 2-ton car, and be like, what you gonna do?
You share my passion. Like, I'm feeling it so bad because I'm like, how come no one else? I remember I was doing it this very week. I was like, if y'all don't get y'all little waddling cells out the road, y'all are just like, we gonna occupy this. I'm gonna take my time. I don't give a damn. You got somewhere to go. I'll just be looking at you and be like, how dare you? You know. Like,
oh man,
the geese are the
Rocco's Modern Life.
Yes, the geese are the most gangster birds in my. Ducks are also gangster, so I'm just like, I don't mind eating a duck. Okay, so someone's like, don't eat rabbits, don't eat. I was like, I don't care. Ducks are arrogant. They need to know their place on the dinner plate. Okay. But duck actually tastes really good. So there you go. That's all I'm blurting out about y'all. Okay. Your turn, Whitney. Okay.
So, let me think. Okay, so one of the things I'm blurting out about is at the Altria Theater recently. It was not today Friday, but this past Friday. They had Come From Away at the Altria. It's a Broadway show. It was like, as part of my mom's Broadway subscription, it's like the one that I was like least excited about because I didn't know that much about it. I mean, I read the synopsis and I'm like, oh, okay.
I've been seeing the ad for ages. I'm glad you said something about it because I was like, now I know what this is about.
Yeah. So like we go in, me and my mom, we see it. It is fantastic.
Y'all.
Fantastic.
Listen to her.
Oh
she
my
don't
God.
say that about everything.
So good. I was so pleasantly surprised. And like, not even just like pleasantly surprised, but just like, because pleasantly surprised is like, I feel like a relative term to, I had low expectations and it exceeded. But it's like, no, from an absolute standpoint,
just like mind
it was
blown.
just,
it
was great. It was great. And they actually have it on Apple TV Plus. From away. It's like a cast recording, I think, almost like what they did with Hamilton. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to come up in here and watch it.
You should, Bola.
We're going to do a watch day.
Yeah, I really want you to see it because it was just so good. And I feel like the Altria wasn't as crowded when we went to see it on Friday night. I hope that they got a lot of people in there because it was just so good and it just deserved like to have a lot of people see it. It's so good.
What would you rate it as on our rating scale?
10 glasses, girl.
10 glasses?
10 glasses, girl.
Not even a 9 and a monocle and a contact? It's 10 glasses. All right. That thing was fire. That thing was fire. Okay.
10 glasses, girl.
I'm going to come up and roll up. I still need to finish Ted Lasso, and you don't want to know the Apple subscription.
That's right.
All right. What else you blurting on about, Whitney?
Let's see. What else was that? I don't know if I talked about this on the last episode. In case I didn't, did I talk about Jungle Cruise?
No, but I heard my sister and my cousins, my sister and my nieces watched that when I wasn't home one day, and they said it was awesome. She didn't want to watch it at first.
It was awesome. This is, once again, shout out to Todd. Once again, this was a recommendation of his, and I watched it because I hadn't seen, I knew it was on
It was
Disney
The Rock
Plus.
again.
I like The Rock, actually, but it was just, for whatever reason, it slipped under my radar. And it was so good.
Yeah, I heard it was. I just didn't get around to it. I was more interested in watching Red Notice, which I also very much enjoy and recommend.
Is that Netflix?
Yeah, that's Netflix.
Okay.
And with Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, and Rock.
Ah, I like Gal Gadot.
Surprise at the end.
I love all three of them, to be honest.
Yeah. The surprise at the end twist is really, really spectacular.
Ooh.
But I was into that, and then I just forgot to go back and watch Jungle Cruise. I actually was interested in Jungle Cruise because I really like Emily Blunt. So
I was interested too. I actually had it on like my Evernote because I have like a list of movies that I want to see.
Of course, you
but
have a list.
But then during the pandemic, everything kind of So it was like still on there. I was like, oh, this was on my list, and I just never got around to watching it once it showed up on Disney Plus. But yeah, really good. I definitely recommend it. Check it out, you guys, on Disney Plus. Yeah, and I think like that might have been. Oh no. Just FYI, the second and final season of Centaur World came out.
Oh my god!
And I watched that. It was probably like a month ago that I watched that.
Because you don't do that to me when I blurt out.
It was really satisfying. I enjoyed it. They had more great songs. The Becky Apple song was like hilarious. Becky Apples. I think your apples suck.
Wow.
Because Horse
is
like jealous because she hears that Ryder, her actual like human rider, like was like riding another horse, and she's like jealous. She's like, she was my friend first, so she's like, Becky Apples is the worst. I don't know her, but I know she's the worst.
I love how happy you get about these little cartoons. I'm just like,
my God, I love it. I'm still like
well, they're not adult cartoons.
Into Encanto. I've been like playing like a playlist that starts
Whitney.
from Encanto so often.
Encanto is just like it's taking over the world. Like
deservedly so. Though.
Like do you realize how many people I watch like every day? I see a video of somebody dressed up like Mirabelle and Dolores and Camille and then Isabella and Louisa dancing, singing. Everybody's getting into it.
I can't wait for my nephews to get older. I want them to be old enough so me and Mom can go and take ballroom lessons because...
Why do your nephews need to be old enough to take you?
Because my brother's not going to do it and my dad's not going to do it.
Oh, y'all don't have partners. Okay, yeah.
But like, I really.
But why don't y'all just go take it and get partners that are already there? Like, there's guys that take it that are actually interested.
There are feel like there's probably maybe an imbalance sometimes. So,
but why would you make your little nephews like and the grandbaby?
I didn't say little. I said when they get older.
How old are you going to be? Because
old enough where they can dance. They like dancing. Thank you very much.
I didn't say that. Babies actually do like to dance, but when kids get older, they become stuck in their own little thing. And what if they don't want to take you guys ballroom dancing?
I feel like that might be a possibility with Eli, but I feel like Peanut has like got that he's going to be
your dance partner while you're like
me
extra
and Mom's
old.
Dance partner. I feel like he truly enjoys dancing, and he doesn't mind dancing with his grandma and his auntie.
Okay, I didn't say he didn't, but I'm just saying.
I feel like he's going to be one of those wonderful young men.
I'm just saying
because I was sitting at the table, and we had the Google Home speaker playing, and he and my mom were Eli and my mom were dancing, and Peanut comes over to me, and he holds out his hand, and he says, "I want to dance with you, auntie."
Aww,
I'm just like,
my
you're
heart.
going to be one of those wonderful young men. We're at the school dance or whatever. Some young lady who's a wallflower, you're going to be like, "Would you like to dance?" You just,
Can we get to real life here? Okay, so can I just say
just
this?
so y'all know,
I'm not trying to.
I've got to conceal. I will.
My God, Whitney, why are you going? Don't go for violence.
Saying.
Don't choose violence. Don't choose violence. I'm
y'all
just saying, what if they grow up?
Have a relationship with the Lord?
Oh my God.
You better have some goals in life. We don't want no riffraff around my nephews.
What if they grow up and they're like, I don't want to dance with my auntie? That's a possibility. I don't want to dance with grandma.
Fine.
It's a possibility.
That it is
That's
a
all I'm saying. When they get older and they can make decisions for themselves.
But I feel like at the very least, Peanut would. I think Eli would probably. I feel like Eli's
gonna be like, nah.
I feel
because you know how guys get like they will be so open when they're kids, but then they grow up, the world gets into them.
Eli would be the more likely to be like,
and they become reserved or they become more into the character.
I feel like Peanut will continue with this.
All right, so you're just hoping.
So excited. So I'm just saying. Yeah, don't be rolling up on my nephews, or unless you come.
Who are these people rolling up on your nephews?
I'm saying he's gonna have to. My nephews. They gonna.
You
have
mean
to
the
fight
little ladies when they get?
Yes, we gonna have to beat them off with sticks. And I'm saying.
All I'm saying is you should not let the growth of your nephews are young right now, like really young. You should not let the growth of them impede you from actually going and just dancing and doing what you got to do.
I dance anyway. I'm just saying I would like to take like the actual ballroom classes.
Yeah, but take the ballroom classes now.
Okay,
and then dance with whoever's there. Dance with a chick.
I don't want to do it anymore.
Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna move on.
I mean, I would still do it, but it's just like with the way the pandemic is, it's not really the time that I would really want to go in there anyway.
Girl, get me some men's real quick. I don't care. Hey,
my mask
daddy.
and stuff. Like when I do something where it's physical exertion, I don't want to have to wear a mask because I feel like, sometimes I can do better with the mask, and sometimes it's like 5 minutes. It's too long.
Oh, but you might not have to dance with the mask. You can just be like, "Are you vaccinated? I'm vaccinated."
Cool. I don't know what their habits are.
And let's not even get into this. This is supposed to be the Black Love episode. This is a negative downer.
But my point was that we don't talk about Bruno. I love that style.
We don't talk about the tango-ish style.
Is it tango?
I feel like it is.
My mom said she thought it was Roomba.
Maybe Roomba, because I haven't watched Dancing with the Stars in a long time. But I remember watching Dancing with the Stars made me learn about all those dances. Foxtrot, Roomba, Samba.
Yeah, but
everything.
It's like when it gets especially to like the build-up part where they're all singing, you can really feel that dance style. And that's why I really wanted. I was like, this makes me really want to learn.
Fine, we can dance we can dance in your room here. Just give me a minute. I get winded.
You can leave your friends.
Oh my God! Stop, Whitney.
And if they don't dance, then no friends of mine.
We can dance to Bruno all you want, because I'm not gonna lie. I have still been every morning. My nieces wake up. I wake up with them because I go to work downstairs, and they get up, and this is what they decide to play. If they're not watching their little Roblox or some of their YouTube channels, they will play on repeat the playlist that has all the songs from Encanto. So every morning
I have no problem with that.
Me and I bound with the family magic out. I know the words.
And actually, we don't talk about Bruno. It's actually my second favorite. My favorite is Surface Pressure. And
pressure like a drip, drip, drip.
Well. Yes, I love that.
Whoa. Pressure like a drip, 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 drip. Just go pop. Whoa, Okay, that's all we should do. We've sang a lot in just the first few minutes of the show.
This is chock full of music, but music
let's get to Black Love.
It's the sound of love.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie, it is, and I'm not. This one point, I've been seeing so many videos that I actually watched a series on Instagram from a Hispanic trauma therapist. She literally went through every one of the family members that have a power and talked about what their trauma, what their thing means. And I'm like, I watched all 8 part of it. Like, no, 10 or 12 parts. I literally sat up in late at night and I watched all of her analyzing of each character. It was ridiculous.
What about Julieta? Because I felt like she was well adjusted and didn't.
Oh no, but she had to do something because she said no. Those kind of people. She had what she had to say about Julieta too, because they're like those are the kind of people that everybody comes to, everyone trusts. But they have to be careful too because she's like, oh, they could also be just too complicit, too what's the word she used? She was saying that people like Julieta are the ones that in the family that people can come to. They trust them, but they also have to be careful that they're not overburdened by everybody, and that they also do some speaking up because she was talking about how Julieta tried to say something, but she could have done more about all the things that are going on. Because she's like, why didn't she stop Bruno from leaving the house? Why did she? That's what she was saying. It was so many things. It's actually very interesting. I'm gonna post that too. Let's just say that. Okay. A bunch of stuff I gotta post for the show notes this year. Okay. All right, so can we get into the Black love?
Let's get into it, girl. Which one you want to talk about first?
But what do you think first? What do you think when you think of Black love? Like, what does it mean to you when someone says that?
It's love.
But black?
Yeah, but black.
Just a joke.
To be honest, like, I feel like we wouldn't even need the term Black love if we
had the qualifier,
more,
right?
Yeah, if we had more representation in, like, the media. Because Black love is just love, but it's usually either between Black people or in if we're talking about like a media, like a movie or TV show or a book or something, or where the main character is Black. Because it doesn't have to be between 2 Black people, but I feel like that's usually kind of what we think of for Black love. But it's really just love. But we only have the qualifier because we need more representation across all media.
I agree. Whitney, you just saying the thing. Look at you. Loving it. Anyway, points.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I agree with you about that. I mean, I love and I love seeing Black love. Whitney, we're going to get on task. We're going to sing. We're not going to sing. I mean, we're not going to sing. We can get into the talk.
Okay.
And so that's why I really liked I'm just to piggyback off what you said about how Black love is really just love. It's just love between people that happen to be brown or Black. And it's because we are not depicted as much as something ordinary and regular that we have to qualify it with Black love in the first place. But it's important for us now to really mention and talk because it's so burgeoning and we see more options. You got the Insecure. You've got all these movies like the movie now, like Sylvie's Love. We're going to talk about Sylvie's Love first, okay? You've got all these other things coming up now and that we finally are seeing things differently, and that's kind of like, I remember when one of the impressions I got from this movie is like, one, the film felt like a movie from the past. Like a movie that I would see in the 90s, like a Sabrina or Breakfast at Tiffany's or what is it called? What's another good one? The one with Julie Roberts and Richard Gere.
Oh, Pretty Woman.
Yes, something like that, where you just see just the love story just blossom and it be regular. And that's how I felt about this. But I was like, wow, I'm seeing this, but with Black people.
Yeah.
And I like that this film was, one, a representation of Black love in the time where you would actually mostly see Black pain because of the time period set in like the 50s and 60s, and that's the civil rights movement. And it's like everyone always feels like, oh, yeah, we have to put the struggle in there. We have to put the Black pain, our trauma, our oppression in there. Of course, it has to be in there somewhere, and that's the Oscar worthiness. To see the struggle. No one, but we live our regular lives.
Yeah,
like. Apart from the struggle, it's there, but we live our regular lives. We experience love just as regular people. And why can't we have a Pretty Woman moment? Why can't we have a Sabrina moment? Why can't we have a Breakfast at Tiffany's moment? You know,
me and Bola talked about this right after I watched it, but it's like everybody has different experiences of being a Black person, if you're a Black person, but not all of us are we probably, every person has probably had some type of experience of this kind of either insidious or outright racism or something like that kind of trauma. But it's not as prevalent as the media always depicts it to be. Like, that is not my experience.
Every day.
Yeah. And
it seems like
it doesn't come up very often for me. So, like, when I'm watching something, especially if you're watching a movie is an escape.
Yes.
So
yes, Whitney.
Why?
We can never. That's the thing. The media, like, it doesn't allow us to escape the oppression. It's like it's reinforcing that this is something we must constantly have to deal with all the time. And I'm like, but what if I don't want to deal with? Like, I'm not gonna lie. There's a new show out called The Underground Railroad and all that kind of stuff.
I thought it was old. I thought that ended in like. I thought
it's newer age. It's newer. Like,
newer. Okay, gotcha.
It's the newer one. I'm not sure if it's called The Underground. It's on Amazon Prime.
Smollett?
No, it's a newer one. Different people.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. That's why I was like, it came out like last year or something.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's called The Underground something. It's about slaves. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not knocking that you shouldn't watch these projects, but I'm over slave dramas. I'm over it.
In a certain mood to watch.
I'm never in the mood for a slave drama. Never. Because I'm like, I want to see us beyond this. It's like we can't escape this. We need to stop going back and looking how, we have issues we're facing right now currently. Again, Black lives are filled with oppression.
To overcome, but it's like, why?
But why?
Need to keep reliving our trauma.
Thank you. We want to just I want to just be in a sci-fi and see my Black people in a sci-fi film. I want to do a Black Panther. We in a place different. I just want to do that.
Yes.
So to me, I don't like watching those kind of films anymore.
I agree with you.
I just don't gravitate towards them.
I mean, we're both Black nerds. We're blurs. It's like, we want to watch stuff that's like sci-fi, fantasy, that like features our people prominently and doesn't need to have that institutional trauma backing it up. Like, it's there for people, but like for some people, it's more prevalent than others. So for the people where it's not like constantly like there, it's like, we don't want to have to be living like trauma every time we watch a movie to escape.
Yes, exactly. It's like we can't escape the trauma even in The Escape. You know, and I love how Reggae John Paul, who was one of the side characters in Sylvie's Love, he said this when it came out during the pandemic, y'all. Also, this movie is streaming. Sylvie's Love. It stars Tessa Thompson and Nnamdi. I'm not gonna lie, he's Nigerian, but he's a different tribe than I am, so I struggle with Igbo names. I'm gonna get the last name for you. I think it's Oswamwa. I'm gonna get it for you. But his first name is Nnamdi, and he's beautiful. Anyway, he's married to Kerry Washington.
Yeah, and when I found out he was married to Kerry Washington, I was like, "You get it."
He's
Kerry.
an NFL player too. He played in football for years.
I read his IMDb, and I love his voice.
Yes, he's
something
beautiful.
About the tone of
yes,
his voice is just
I
really
love voices.
nice.
Voices get me. If you have an accent and I can gauge it, I can hear it so easily. I'm like, where are you from? Anyway, but it attracts me. Voices attract me. Sounds attract me. But anyway, but I just love how Reggae John Paul said this. That he said that he liked doing the project because he's like, he finally saw a story where it was devoid of Black pain. And I mean, that thing struck me when he said it.
Yes.
It was like, this is devoid of Black pain. This is just a simple story about a man and a woman who love each other, who happen to be Black, talking about what love is just about in their lives. And I love that. And that's what I got from this film.
And that's what made me love it so much. I think that this has become my all-time favorite Black love movie.
Beautiful.
Because, like what you said, it doesn't have like that institutional trauma.
Yes.
It's
I know
just
Black
a
people
love
experience
story.
it as a whole on the daily. I'm not gonna lie. Black people as a whole, collective, experience trauma and issues on the daily, and they always have to express it. But individual lives, not every day. It's not about that all the time. We just out here trying to live our lives too. We want to love. We want. I want to love with somebody. That's not the right word. That's not the right word. I tried that. But yeah, and I just love that this film made you feel like I felt like I was watching those movies from the 90s. That I loved watching, but it was with myself being seen, you know?
And I'm going to take it back further, because for me, I mean, I know that the setting is the 50s, and I don't know if this what decade this movie is actually from, but I felt 50s, like 60s. It made me... Oh, yeah.
I think it's 50s.
I think it was 62, but then when it went back, it said 5 years earlier, so I think that would have made it like 57 or so.
Yeah.
But anyway, you said it reminded you of the like love movies of the 90s. For me, this really, really put me in mind of An Affair to Remember.
The old, actually, I get you. The old school movies. No, you know what? You're very right, because I remember I loved watching those black and white films too.
Yeah, and
especially
that's
my film history classes.
Yeah,
and I did like those. So, like,
and I can see like parallels because for people who haven't seen that movie because they don't watch the classics or whatever, it's like a love story. These people, this man and woman, meet on, I think it's a cruise ship, and they fall in love. And
you're talking about Affair to Remember.
An Affair to Remember. Okay. And they decide to meet at the Eiffel Tower. And the guy goes there to meet the woman. The woman never shows up. So then, like, I think it's like years later, he like finds out where she's at, and he like goes to her apartment to meet her, and she's sitting down the entire time. She actually went to meet him, but she got in a car accident, and she was like paralyzed from like from the waist down. So she didn't like ever contact him or anything because she didn't want him to have the what she thought of as like the burden of having to take care of her with her like
being paralyzed.
Yeah, being paralyzed. And I feel like I see definite parallels between that and Sylvie's love, because both of them, they were so in love. And I feel like this is like and I can't remember what the passage, what the act part of the Bible is, but love is patient, love is kind.
I think it's in the New Testament.
Yeah.
It's in like Romans, I think, Romans 16 or something.
And
I'm a Sunday school teacher. That's messed up. I don't know.
After that, after the love is patient and love is kind, but it's like both of them, this was like true love because they were not concerned just for themselves. They were concerned for the other one. First, Sylvie, like, gave up. She didn't tell him that she was pregnant because his career was about to take off, and she didn't want to make him choose between the baby.
And our main guy was a saxophonist, and he was very good.
He was very good. And she didn't want to make him choose, so she didn't tell him. And it was out of love. It was sacrifice and love.
Yeah, I'm about to say the main theme was sacrifice. My sacrifice. Sorry, I love that Creed song.
And then on the opposite side, when what was his name in the movie?
Yeah, what was his name? That's sad.
Robert.
Yeah.
Robert.
I heard it today.
So when Robert like thinks that he gets this job at Motown, but it doesn't because this dude is just
gave him the runaround. He was all talk. I was mad about that.
Instead of telling Sylvie about the fact that he didn't get it because he wanted her to move with him back to Detroit when he got it, and she was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll do it." So when he gets back, he doesn't tell her that he didn't get it. He like observes her because at this point she's like this like really successful producer, which as a black woman is amazing.
Very uncommon, especially in the time period.
And plus, it was her dream to do that, and so
she
she's
became
living her dream. So he watches her doing what she loves, and he just doesn't tell her because he
loves her so much.
He
loves sacrifices.
Her. He doesn't want
love
her
is sacrifice
to give it up. And it's so funny because when Sylvie is talking to her cousin, she was like, "Why wouldn't he just tell me?" She was like, "I would have gone with him." And she's like, "That's probably why he didn't tell you.
Because he didn't want you to
He didn't want you to give up
what you're doing,
what your dream and your love." And it's just like, it's so beautiful.
It's so touching.
Yeah,
it really is. And
because it's like
beautiful.
True love. Like you love someone so much that you were willing to
sacrifice your happiness with them in order for them to excel and soar. I don't know what other iterations of love are stronger than that. You know what I mean? Sacrifice is really a strong component of love, I think.
I will say that I feel like love shouldn't really be about sacrifice.
No, I'm not. I said component of love. Love is still bigger than that.
I know. But the fact that you are selfless enough and love that person enough to be willing to do that is like, selfless love, I think, is like the highest type of love.
Yeah, I agree. And I just also liked how there was a little bit of like girl power in this, especially because the time period there wasn't girl power. But it showed her as a black woman succeeding. Like, and you saw that another woman of color was giving space for another woman of color in a film where in a industry that did not want us there in the first place, you know. And we didn't talk about all that outlier stuff of the racism and all that kind of stuff. There was like one little scene when her when she ended up marrying that other dude that everyone wanted her to marry, and they had like a dinner like with one of his partners who was white. There was like that one part, but it was so minute, and I love it because I was like, I don't want this to ruin the movie, but I don't want them to be unrealistic either.
Right.
So I love that they touched on that part just slightly, but it was just ever so slightly.
It's like so that we can be real. Just living in a bubble.
Yeah, we be real. We can be. These kind of off-color comments was fine for white people to make, even in the home of black people at the time. You could just come and disrespect me in my own house. No African would ever have that, by the way. But we weren't over here at that time. Anyway, but I like that they focused on, like, you saw a little bit of that girl power, that woman coming up with her own, like, we got to see her making it, becoming what she wanted to become. And I think, I guess during that time, so much changing happened in America at that time anyway, that women wanted to come and work. It was okay for them not to just be a housewife. Yeah. That I like that.
That just makes it like, it's just an extra level. One, she just
added
black,
a layer to her.
And then two, she was a black woman. And that, that was just...
In TV, and you weren't the talent or the item girls.
Exactly. You weren't like you weren't
sex
just
symbol
a secretary or something. You were a
secretary.
You were in a creative...
A power position. Okay, can we say that?
And creative, like, because that's another thing. I feel like we don't always encourage our...
They were both creative because he was a musician.
He was.
And he went after what he wanted to do, playing jazz.
I feel like we don't always, like, not everyone who is a creative person in our community, like black people, don't always encourage their children if they do have that talent. I understand being realistic, which you should. You should be realistic, but you should also let people pursue that. I think we're doing better now, but I feel like sometimes, and you know what, it's not just us.
Yeah, other cultures do it.
It's not just
us, I always talk about other cultures do it a lot, especially those ones where you guys know I'm always talking about well, you might not know this, but I'm always talking about Gert Hofstede's cultural dimensions theory. I know that's got really nerdy for you guys, but that communication theory talks about like the qualities of different nations and groups so that you can understand, if you understand these dimensions and where that country falls, it kind of like tells you how the people are going to be. And I'm not going to lie, I watched a Nas Daily clip on the on Facebook, and Nas Daily is like an account you can follow, and it talked about how certain nations have characteristics, like America is the most smiliest, and then it kind of depicts how the people are going to be. And so it's almost like in Finland, he was saying how in one of those Nordic countries, how it's like a cultural thing, norm to be quiet and reserved. And so that country has more introverts than not. And it's not because there are no extroverts there. It's just that the nation's quality or characteristic of quietness and reserve makes more introverts, you know? And I thought that was very interesting. Why am I bringing this up again? But I was talking about how in other collectivistic societies where the family unit is more seen and more prevalent and matters more than the individual, you will see these kind of things where they do not promote you just going off on your individualistic thing. It's like, no, you need to do what's best for this family. What's going to honor the family is you being a doctor like your dad. What's going to honor the family is you being a dentist like your dad. What is going to honor the family is you joining the business. But when the kids have other dreams and things and they don't let them go, I understand what you're saying. So, and you would think that in the movie too, that our Sylvie was going to just stay in the shop with her dad and just run the shop with them or something. And she was like, no, I don't want to do that, you know? Or she did kind of fall in line with just become a housewife, but it was because she had the baby coming, you know? So she had to protect herself too. It's still that time period. Ain't nobody want a baby without, you know. And honestly, we got to give her, the husband, credit. He wasn't the main, what was his name in that, Sly? Was it Sly?
No. Lacey.
Lacey was the one that she ended up marrying because it was the one that everyone wanted her to marry. But then she met Robert, and they had a summer fling.
I feel like it was, I don't know if it was everyone. I feel like it was more her mother. Her
mother wanted her because he looked good on paper. He was a doctor, I think.
And came from a family of doctors.
So he was like.
No, wait, sorry. No, he wasn't a doctor. His father was a doctor.
Okay.
Because remember, he was like getting some type of account or something.
Yeah, so that's right. That's right. He was in business or something. So he came from the right stock of black.
Yes.
Because her mom was very bougie. Sylvie's mom was very bougie black. And her dad was just extra regular. So I thought it was very interesting that she was. I'm like, don't forget who you married. You married like a regular black dude. Just chill. Why are you being so high sedity? But okay. But her mom wanted her to, because she's like the prim proper, I teach elocution and etiquette lessons, you know, and she wanted Sylvie to have the right match, which is fine. And I like that they showed that. There's the bougie black, y'all. It's everywhere. Yeah. We have them. Some people call me that sometimes. I'm not always like that, but sometimes.
We have that too. I mean, they're not always bougie, but it is like, it's also part of our culture in some place.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was called. So it was a Sisters United. I forgot what it was called, but it wasn't exactly a cotillion, but we did have to do like
dancing and stuff.
Dance and stuff like that. And my mom had like a similar thing when she was young too. So like,
it's a Southern thing, I think.
I think you're right.
It's definitely the cotillion, all that kind of stuff. Is definitely a Southern thing. So you would see more so people living in the South doing that than people in the North or other regions. Pageantry and all that kind of stuff is very high.
It wasn't exactly pageantry, but it is kind of
like I'm just talking about in general.
Oh, debutante. That's what it is.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
So the mom, I like that they showed that. She was a different type of black woman. But they wanted her to marry Lacey, and she did. And I have to give him credit, because not a lot of black men are going to accept a woman that they know they didn't sleep with, and the baby she's pregnant.
He did sleep with her, but he knew he didn't sleep with her in order to have that child.
Right? Yeah, you know what I mean. But like, I'm just saying, they know that. Hey, I didn't do that.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
And they wouldn't take it. So I like that he married her anyway, because he loved her too.
He did.
He did. He was like, I love you.
He did.
And like, she just took it.
Because to be honest, like through the like when we did finally meet Lacey, I was kind of like, eh.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling him that much.
I wasn't feeling him either.
But I didn't think he was a bad man.
When they broke up, and he said, I didn't marry you because it was like the noble thing to do. I married you because I loved you. I was like, okay, this is actually a good dude, but they're just not right for each other.
Yes, exactly. She was in love with Robert. Robert was the one for her. They both were so in love.
They supported each other.
Yeah.
And they believed in each other, because like
I like seeing that too. That was beautiful to watch.
Was beautiful, because the problem with her and Lacey, he loved her, and I feel like she loved him in a way, just not like in love with him. Was that like, he said when they broke up, he was like, I didn't want you to be the woman of my dreams. I just wanted to be the man of yours. But it's like, if you really loved her, why don't you know that this is her dream? Why wouldn't you support her in her dream? You didn't
want a wife that worked.
You just railroaded over her dreams and aspirations.
Yeah. That part where you could see that they had different values and visions of life, and that stuff's so important to talk out. Even when you're considering getting with anybody, you need to find that stuff out early, because if they have a different expectation and you trying to find out after y'all tied them, you in for some stuff. Yes, you're in for some stuff, because when you want to do this or do that, and then they're not supportive, or they're like, I don't want you to do that, or like,
you marry someone some wanting a housewife. Or one housewife.
You just gotta let me know, because I'm not that housewife for you.
Yeah,
you
because
know,
there's only a problem if that's not who they are.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I was like, I always tell people to be honest with me. Tell me these things about you right now. You a sex freak. You a this, that. You a what and the third. Tell me these things that you don't like monogamy. Tell me these things now, because then I could be like, oh, okay, I'm not for you. I'm not from you.
Disparity between expectation.
Exactly. I'm upfront with my stuff. I like to get it out in the open early. Okay, I let somebody know. Do you want to do this? Are you this? Are you that? Let us know now. So I don't have to be, you know, I'm not gonna lie, even though as much as jerky as some guys have been, since we're talking about black love, as jerky as some guys have been in my experience with some of them and their expectations, because sometimes women get tired of men that just want to have sex with them and that's it. Like, it's like, I'm tired of that. Like, okay, we know that's what you're thinking about. Okay, but I'm just trying to get to know you. Like, stop talking about this, that, and the third, and I asked you, what are your hobbies? And you're talking about sexual things. Like, it's annoying.
I think that's a clue for you, Bola.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you, next.
But it gets irritating, but you're right. Put it up front, so now I know what I'm dealing with, and I'm like, okay, I can decide that you're not for me. I can't deal with you, because this is what you want to do. You do you, but don't do you with me. You know what I mean? And so I just get to the bottom of that, and I prefer men talk about this kind of stuff early, like, oh, well, I don't want to, you know, I want to see other women. I want to be in an open relationship. I don't want children, all that kind of stuff. Let a chick know early, so you can find a fish in the sea that is for thee, you know?
I like that.
Because it ain't me. That was the third one. Yeah. Right. Your girl is doing it. Rhyming. And anyway, so back to the movie, Sylvie's Love. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It had this nostalgic feel, and it had a nuanced feel at the same time. And I was just like in awe of it. I'm not gonna lie, of the two, it's my favorite.
It is, and I love her.
Superior
I love her cousin
for me
too, Mona Lisa.
Yes, that was Aja. She was very, very good. If you guys know, she played one of the characters on. She played the black lady, the black girl on How to Get Away with Murder. That TV series by Shonda Rhimes, Viola Davis. She was one of the black girl. Her name was Aja Naomi King, I think.
Oh, snap, that was her.
She was also in Boxing Day that I talked about last time. I hope you guys watched that. That's also on Amazon Prime. Anyway.
Now I'm trying to think of her name because...
I just said it. Aja Naomi King.
No, I'm talking about her character's name on How to Get Away with
Murder. I don't remember.
Because I watched that show. I enjoyed that show.
Yeah, but she was on there. And I love, everybody knows Rega John Paul from Bridgerton, and that's my sexy. He's on my list, y'all. He's on my list.
I'm so excited for the new season.
Yes, but he's not going to be in it.
I know, but I'm still excited.
Yeah,
I feel like
I got over my hatred of him not being there.
Show that the second season is still going to be awesome.
I do too. And then the girl from Sex Education, the Indian girl Simone, she's gonna be on it. So she's like the main interest for the other brother. So I'm like very excited to see what they're gonna do.
Which other brother?
So each Bridgerton series is like each book is about one of the Bridgerton
I know,
siblings.
but I'm asking which one.
So the oldest brother, who's the annoying, pricky one,
and
Anthony. Yeah, Anthony's gonna be the main purpose of this season, and so Simone is his love interest in the series. So I mean, no spoilers, but it's not really a spoiler. But she's the love interest, really. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna see what happens because they could go either way. I don't know. I'm excited to see Bridgerton too.
Me too.
And so the diversity is just flowing. I like it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so are we ready to rate Sylvie's Love?
Yeah.
I think we're ready. I give Sylvie's Love 9 glasses and a monocle. I don't really have any problem with it. I don't know about 10 fully, but I'm going to give it a monocle and 9 glasses and a monocle. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I am going to give it 10 broken glasses because I'm slamming these glasses down because it's a mic drop moment for me, y'all.
Did you just say 10 broken glasses?
Yeah, because I took these glasses and I slammed them down.
Why are we breaking them?
Because it's a mic drop, but I don't, they're glasses, so not mics, so I slammed them and they're broken now.
Okay.
10 glasses, y'all. 10 glasses.
All right. So
and
we
enthusiastic 10 glasses.
All right. We got 9 glasses and a monocle from me and 10. It's almost a perfect score, honestly.
It is.
I'm just more critical than Whitney is.
I think the average in that case is 9 glasses, a monocle, and a contact lens.
All right, y'all. Hey.
9.75. I'll have to actually do some actual math to just double check that, but I feel like that's what it is.
I love that, a contact lens.
That's our 0.25.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, that was our take on Sylvie's Love. Awesome movie. You guys watch it, please.
Oh my gosh, yes. Check it out on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Excellent.
It's excellent. It's excellent film. It's a wonderful representation of Black love. Mm-hmm. And on this Black Love Day, well, just this Love Day, Valentine's Day, I hope you guys watch it after you listen to this. Or before you listen to this. And now we're going to go on to our second one, the sci-fi film. You wouldn't tell them about that, Whitney?
Sure. Needle in a Time Stack.
Which is a great title, actually.
It is. It's really interesting.
Because it's a play on an actual, idiom or phrase that we already have.
Yeah. But this one was interesting because I felt like, on the surface, it's a love story similar to Sylvie's Love. But when you really get into it, I feel like it's about different types of love. It's like romantic love is not exactly the main type. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's really about different types of love because by the end, is it Nick?
Yeah, Nick is the main character.
Nick is, let me just talk about the beginning. I feel like in the beginning, Nick is not a very empathetic person. He's kind of an asshole in some way, honestly.
Asshole is kind of strong. He just love his woman and don't want nobody to take her.
This is true.
And I appreciate that.
But he's also he's okay. In some ways, he's still an asshole though.
But he's just not empathetic.
It happened 2 times. You remember we both commented on it because when he was with
Well, wait. What's your first impression of this movie? Let's go there first.
So it's very hard to nail down an overhanging drama. Genre for it because it is like, you know, sci-fi fantasy because of the time travel thing. Probably more sci-fi with this, since they had like an actual mechanism for doing it. But also romance. There is a bit of romance in there. I feel like romance was more understated. But it's hard to say what it is, because since it's like, it's still about love, but a different type. So I don't know what you would say that genre is.
I would say this is a sci-fi film. It's just a different type of sci-fi film. Now, hear me out on this. How I feel like I'm glad we picked both of these films, because they are both new representations of Black love for us, that where Sylvie's love was just about showing Black love devoid of pain, just as we are. And I honestly, Black ordinariness, so that we can become ordinary on screen, not to have this qualifier, right? But here you have another instance of Black love, or Black people in a romantic situation in a realm where you don't really see Black people in a lot of sci-fi films. So I like that this Black love was in another genre that we are not always represented in. And that I thought was very, very cool.
It was.
About this. And that's when it gets some more points from me for that particular thing. But I agree with you, Whitney. This particular movie was not only about just love or romantic love. This one was about love in different forms, because of the different relationships with the main characters that we saw. And so I did enjoy this movie. I did enjoy it because it made you think.
I felt like, I mean, even though kind of like the inciting incident was based off of kind of the romantic love, to me the type of love that stood out more was like kind of the friendship. Because like when, like I was saying, Nick kind of lacked he lacked empathy at the beginning, because like his friend, the dude who's like a rich dude,
Orlando Bloom's character, Tommy,
who he had a falling out with, because Tommy was married to his his current wife. What is Cynthia Erivo's character's name? Janine. So Tommy was married to Janine, and they divorced, and then Nick married Janine. So it's like Nick is all, you know, had a falling out with Tommy, and he's all up in arms and stuff. It's like, oh, but dude, he actually had her first, so that makes it a little bit questionable on your part, because it's like, were you hitting on her? You probably weren't, but it does bring that question up in most people's minds, like,
how did you take my wife?
Yeah, did you take her, or were they really done?
But he said he did. Well, I'm not gonna lie. Nick claimed in the beginning, he said it all the time, that he's like, I didn't even bother with you until you. He's like, I didn't even come at you or meet you until you guys were already divorced. It's just that they met through him because I was his wife from the beginning.
Right.
So, and again, it has something to do with like what I feel like this movie wasn't trying to explain love, but it just kind of showed.
Nick was super jealous. Like each time, like he was jealous over Janine's relationship. I think he was afraid. With Tommy, and then when they had like the time shift, and he was with what was his old girlfriend's name?
Alex.
He was jealous of her relationship with Tommy. He was just always jealous.
He was jealous of Tommy.
Tuesday, Moulin Rouge, jealousy will drive you.
Okay, well, just to put some context with this, Needle in the Timestack is about a couple of friends, a couple in particular, but a couple of friends as well, where in this time travel is not only plausible, it's there, and it is controlled, and it is only like people that have a lot of money that really go back in time, and they are allowed to do things and change things. There is something as like time crime, but it's like, no, you can literally go back and change time, and then your present will change. And that was what his main fear was, but he did not want to forget, because I feel like with Nick, he knows that Janine is his love, like that's his person, and he did not want to lose him to Tommy. And Tommy was going back in time and changing things, and he was trying to actively get Janine back. So that was, the whole thing was another thing entirely. Now, I had always felt like Tommy was just malicious, and I thought he was like not malicious, but I thought, well, what would be the word for this? Because he's doing something that's not right. So to me, that's why I was like, this is a malicious thing you're doing. You're using time to go back to get her back when you guys amicably divorced. Like, she said no. Like, she told you that. She came at you like, I'm done with you, but you're trying to go back and meddle with things. It's not right.
It's considered amicable if it's not on both sides. I feel like he didn't want to let her go.
But they both divorced anyway. It's like, there's no point in being with somebody that doesn't want to be with you.
I feel like amicably means that they both agreed to separate, and I feel like on his side, he was like, he never wanted to actually let her go.
Okay, that's fine. That's all like needles and that's nitpicking, but I got you. I will use a different word. However, they got a divorce. Mm-hmm. So you can't be mad at Nick for swooping in when you guys didn't work. It didn't work for her anyway. Sorry for you, but it didn't work for her.
I feel like you probably can be mad.
He can, but it's too bad, okay?
It's too bad. But when you think about, like, you know, bros before hoes, chicks before dicks, then then you're going to feel some type of way.
Yeah, your best friend getting with her. I understand.
Yeah, so from that standpoint, I understand you, Tommy.
Almost like Tommy was in the way, though. It looked like they were... Okay, so let's go back. Let's go to this phrase. They kept saying this. By the way, Needle in a Time Stack is actually based off of a short story. The director of this film is called John Ridley. He worked on Red Tails and a bunch of other stuff. He wrote comics for Black Panther. He does a lot of things. And he decided to work on this. And I remember watching his videos, and I did send them to Whitney to watch. I might just have to... Yeah, I did text you those. Yeah. You probably didn't watch them, though.
No.
Okay. But I'll post them in the show notes for you guys so you guys hear what he was saying. But he was talking about how he liked, it was only an 11-page short story that he had read. Mm-hmm. And then he said he liked that what this movie did. It talked about love, but it didn't try to explain love. Mm-hmm. And it didn't try to explain the time traveling aspects. Mm-hmm. It just put it in there. And it was all in 11 pages. But he kept saying this phrase that they kept saying in the movie. Mm-hmm. Love is drawn in a form of a circle. Mm-hmm. No one knows where it begins, and it never really ends. Mm-hmm. You and I, we are just forever. Always and always. Mm-hmm. Right? And so, I love that. I'm not going to lie, I really love that phrase, right? And so, this phrase is like, to me, it's something that we first see Stacey Orivo's character Janine saying to him, because in this time period you can actually like upload your memories so that you won't forget, because people can forget because people are going back in time to change stuff. So like when they had a first flash wave, that I was like, yo, what's this water coming at them?
Yeah, it's a very like butterfly effect thing. Like takes a while for it to fully set in and
they
change
had a dog
memories.
named Charlie, and then for some reason when they came back to the house, the dog changed to a cat. And I was like, hold up. And so these kind of things happen, and I just think it's so funny that they managed to to commoditize your memories in this. It was like, oh, let me make and then they ended up saving he put all his memories up there, and they only saved like this little mega bit of it. It was so irritating to me. It's like, how would he know what this is? It's just like a little blurry flash of a memory. And I'm like, but he paid a lot of money for you guys to upload his memories so he would remember who's important. That's just a side thing of the show. But that particular phrase meant, to me, was almost like a honing device for both of them. It was almost like she was like, no, you're my person, because it's like we're in this circle thing together. Yeah. And I feel like the movie was talking about that overall.
It's like you don't know where it begins and it never ends. So even though they didn't start where they originally did, you don't know exactly.
And it's like, but they kept going back to each other based off of what Nick did. Nick ended up, Nick, he just knew that Tommy was going back in time to change them, to break them up. Yeah. And unfortunately, he was right. So he was kind of paranoid, but he was rightly so.
He was right. But then he was taking it to like this whole other level. He was like, but maybe I should go back in time and do something to Tommy. And then Janine is like, you sounding kind of scary right now. Right. It sounds like you want to like kill him. Mm-hmm. And then it's interesting because you get to like the middle to end of the movie after Tommy successfully changes it so that he's still with Janine, and Nick is with his old girlfriend Alex, and you see Tommy like on the phone with Alex because they're kind of each other's people. They like tell each other about their problems and stuff. And when he gets off of the phone with Alex, Janine is like, "Whoa, what's going on?" He was like, "One of my friends is having a hard time. I'm not sure if they're gonna make it." He was like, I really thought that they were made for each other. I wanted them to be happy. So it's like Nick had this thing where he was like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to F him up.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Tommy wanted
and he won Janine back,
which, you know, he did what he was in love. He did what he did to try to get her back, but he wasn't trying to harm his friend. He just wanted her back. And he still wanted his former friend to still be happy, though.
Yeah, I agree.
And then it's so interesting because then Alex, his girlfriend that after Tommy changes the timeline, he's still with her. Actually, I think he was married to her.
Yeah, he made it till they were married.
Yeah. So, like, she's talking about, and then he's, like, jealous, the same way he was jealous with Janine.
When Alex ended up being his new wife. Like, it's so crazy.
And it's like another thing with, like, what Janine was saying, that it never ends. Mm-hmm. She was like, just because she's no longer with Tommy, that doesn't mean that she may have stopped, like she said, caring about him. It's still a type of love. She still loves him. She's not in love with him anymore, but she's not gonna, you don't just, I mean, some people might, but you don't just cut that type of thing off.
If you're not like bitterly irreconcilable, like you guys are not hating each other, then you would still have some kind of feeling of something for that person.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like for her, she's like, yeah, I went to talk to him. I was married to him for some years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to go talk to him. But not in the way you think. And he just was like, why would you get... Yeah, so Nick was off the chain.
Off the handle.
Yeah. Let's talk about the black portion of it. So Orlando Bloom and Frida Pinto played Tommy and Alex, which are the other two people. Mm-hmm. And the main two is Janine and Nick, played by Leslie Odom Jr., who was in Hamilton. If you don't know what I'm talking about, he played Aaron Burr greatly, by the way. And then
Aaron Burr, sir.
Yes, I know. What's that one song? He's like, I'm gonna wait for it. Oh my god, I love that song. Anyway, and then Stacey Arivo, who we know from many things.
When it happened.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Anyway, let's not get into Hamilton because I will sing all those songs forever. If we get into Satisfied, I'm really gonna have an issue.
Oh my god, that is my favorite song.
Yes, if we get into that, I'm gonna have an issue. So let's not.
Okay.
Because I love all of Hamilton. Anyway, but that's Lin-Manuel for you. Bruno Hamilton got me like stuck.
And Moana, like I hadn't realized that.
Yeah.
And before Encanto, Moana was like my favorite modern Disney movie. Mm-hmm. And now it makes sense. He's just a genius. Like,
yeah, now Encanto is kind of coming out there. I wanted to change my rating for Encanto actually, because now I'm just like, yo, this movie is a 10. Let me not even front. I gave it like an 8, and I'm like, nah, this movie's a 10. Anyway, but Leslie Odom Jr. is plays Nick, and then Stacey Arivo plays Thank you. Why did you say Stacey? Cynthia Erivo plays Janine. Now, what do you think?
I felt like she wasn't in the movie as much as I expected.
Not gonna lie, she was not to me. But she was not to me but I guess it's still cool because Nick was the main person.
He
now,
was.
Do you think them having the two black people be the leads affected this film to you in any way? Like, did you read it differently? Did you feel anything different while you were watching this? What do you think, Whitney?
I feel like, I mean, it's still a black love story, sort of, because they were kind of like, that's who he felt like was his true love was Janine. Mm-hmm. Nick, that was his true love. But then there were also other relationships in there.
Because Nick's sister, who was in there called,
yeah.
she was Asian.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting too. And Frida Pinto is Indian, and Orlando Bloom is white. And then you have the two. So it's like, it's very diverse cast for the main people.
I really liked that aspect. It made it very interesting. And it's interesting because, like, that's kind of like we said, like I said, the inciting incident was around their love and Tommy wanting to get her back. But really, it's about a lot of different types of love. And I felt like the other types really stuck with me more. Yeah,
but what about the fact of them being black? Because I remember that's the question I asked you. So what do you think? Because I could see this film being a film, like, I feel like in previous times, I would see, instead of Stacey Arivo and Leslie Odom, I would see, like, I don't know, Ryan Reynolds and like Kate Hudson or something.
I would see Ryan Reynolds.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just throwing out white actors. I was just like, I feel like I would see those people in here, not who I have seen, not these two. So, what do you think about them occupying this space, or what do you think about this film being the? Because we are talking about black love here. What does it say about black love, I guess?
We are talking about black love, but I feel like this film is leaning more into just the love. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, technically, you would call it Black love, but I feel like these are the films that we would just see and not even think to say Black love if we had more of them, with it not, if we had more representation.
Which is why I like that they chose to do that, to lead the leads the black people.
And it's not like a focus on the fact that they are black.
They're just people.
They're people, and they happen to be black.
And that goes back to what the I'm really gonna make sure I have the right video and post that, because the director John Ridley, I don't know if he wrote the script too, but he was saying that was the thing he wanted to show, because he was like, we need to occupy a space we haven't been and show more representation of it. But he was just like, he wanted to showcase them, the ordinariness of black people as well. You know, they can be ordinary. We can just be here, like you said. Let us just be in the space. Like, oh, they're just people. They're Nick and Janine,
right? Not
just they got to be black. It's something.
Right.
No, they're just the people in the film. And I really like that it's almost showing the evolution, I guess, or the beginning of one, or transformation in how we think and see that, like, oh, finally, maybe we can begin to think about. Remember, I kept saying before how it's like in Hollywood before, if you wanted to change a character, like, here's what I would say: white people could just be anybody when it comes to film. But if you wanted to change that person to black or any other race, it had to be thought of. It can't just be like, oh yeah, I could see any old character in that role. I could see Ryan Reynolds, I could see Jason Bateman, I could see anybody. But if it was to be like the whole Shaft, like the whole James Bond thing, when everyone was talking about Idris Elba being James Bond, then it became a thing. But any other white actors, they were gonna be like, oh yeah, I could see that. Oh yeah, maybe him. There was no discussion. But when somebody brought up Idris Elba, even the person who originally wrote James Bond was like, he's too urban. Which is just meaning like, I never meant for 007 to be black. That's what he was saying. Even though,
sorry,
why not?
I thought about, what's his name? One of your husbands, the comedian.
Trevor Noah.
Did he do it about James Bond? He's like, where is he? There he is.
That's my husband, Trevor Noah.
We should put that clip in there. That was funny.
I mean, you got to find that one for me. But that's what I'm saying. So, it's like white people could. I hope white people get this. We're not trying to bash or anything, but I'm just saying it's like, even in representation in film and all that. I remember I used to like want to write stuff at fantasy literature, and I remember I only thought of white characters because I didn't think about black people being in the fantasy. And I remember thinking about like how messed up that is, really, in my mind. That I would not like. I would think of my stories and things I wrote, and all the characters are white all the time.
Yeah,
back in the day, like back in the early days of writing. In like writing fan fiction and writing regular stories when I started coming up with stuff in college, I remember all my characters were white, and it was because I wanted to do fantasy genre, and I was like, why didn't I think to add some black people into this?
Yeah,
and then I remember for the first time, because I was like, I don't see any Nigerian alternative black girls like me in anything, and I changed my thinking, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't see any Indians, I don't see any Asians, and I wanted to think of a different story that was more inclusive of other people. I remember the moment that happened to me, and I was like, yes, this is what I should be thinking. But it just goes to show the conditioning we had from the beginning.
Right.
Like all these films, like even a film like Sylvie's Love, it's normal for us to see Julia Roberts and Richard Gere doing this, not us, not Denzel Washington and Cicely Tyson or those kind of people. That's not what we would normally see. So I feel like what this film is doing,
I feel like it's a paradigm shift. Almost.
Yes, thank you. It's a shift. It's the beginning of a shift, a transformation. That's one of the things I liked about this film. Like, even if you are somebody who watches and you don't really like, I don't really like this film. But what it's doing for black love to be depicted as in just ordinary and I think love. It's amazing. It's just love, and it helps to set that tone that you guys need to be used to just seeing us being here. Not that, oh, this character's not supposed to be black. Why can't they be black? This character's supposed to be Indian. Why can't they be Indian? I mean, you know what I mean? Why can't they be some other race? Why can't this person play this person? Why can't that person play? All the traditionally white roles, like, oh my God, Shakespeare's this. They can't have, no. Why can't somebody else of color anybody who just fits the role for this new reiteration of the story. Why can't they occupy that?
And it's kind of interesting, like what you said about his sister being Asian.
Yeah.
Like, they never
We were so
explained
surprised.
that. But then I was kind of like, I really want them to explain this.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
was somebody like a foster kid? Was somebody adopted? But
and I love that they didn't.
Yeah, I did. I love that they didn't. They're like, no.
She's just here. This is his sister.
This is his sister.
Because you only hear her voice all the time in the beginning.
Right.
You just hear her voice, and I was like, oh, I hope we get to meet Zoe one day. Right, Zoe? Yeah, Zoe was her name. And
Zoe.
then you see her, and I was like, oh, well, dang.
And that's interesting. That's why I went back to the other relationships other than Nick and Janine's being more interesting, because, like, Zoe had, what was Zoe's best friend's name?
I think Sabella.
Okay.
She was a Portuguese
and
lady, and they didn't speak English, and I was just like, how are you best friends with someone who you don't communicate with? That's just another statement about love altogether, about how love transcends language and stuff. Because
and then, like,
how, Whitney?
Yeah.
How can you be friends with a best friend with someone you can't speak the same language?
I didn't understand.
I was like,
either.
were you using Google Translate the whole time? Does Google exist in this world?
But, like, it's interesting because during one of the, like, in the original, I think it was in the original timeline before the shift happens, Zoe's best friend, Sabella, you said?
Yeah, it's something like that. Sorry if he's saying it wrong, but it is a Portuguese
name. She dies.
Yes.
And then, like, Zoe cleans out her entire savings in order to go back in time
and save her from dying.
Save her. And it's like, the entire time through the movie that we actually see Zoe or hear her and stuff, it's like, is this your girlfriend? Like, it's
We thought maybe they were in a same-sex relationship. So that's what I assumed.
It appeared that they weren't actually, but I feel like it was like their relationship went beyond just, I mean, they were best friends, but it's like it was another type of love. Like, she loved her so much that she went back in time to save her. And it's like, it's interesting because
they never talked about that.
It might not actually be romantic love.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was, I love this woman as a person
so much.
It's not a romantic. It's not sexual. It's nothing. It's just, I love this person. And I can feel that. I have friends that I love so much too.
Yeah.
So I understood that. Once I got over it, I was like.
And I found it, like, really of interest.
Yeah.
That they, like,
they went to that. It's like a filial love. Because if you look at the Greeks have 4 words for love than we do. We only have 1 word, but they recognize the different kinds of love.
The only one I remember
they have eros, and then they have filio, and then there's like another 2. One's like servant love. I used to know all of them. Forgive me. Over 30 brain is hitting me. You know? And so they have multiple words for love because they recognize that there's different type of love. Like filio is brotherly love, which would kind of be that love between them. You know what I mean? And so I like that they did that. I like that we didn't get all this explaining. It was fine.
It even more interesting, Zoe's relationship with her best friend, than, like, Nick and Janine's, to be honest.
And I loved it. I just did not. It was in my mind. I'm like, how are you friends with someone you guys don't speak the same language?
Yeah.
But it worked for them.
It worked. And then, like, by the end, like, so I felt like, so this is another movie that had, like, a kind of a theme of sacrifice too.
Yes,
because
but there's two other themes that you mentioned. You mentioned healing and you mentioned empathy when we were looking at this.
And that's what I was kind of going to is, like, I said near the beginning when we started talking about it that Nick lacked empathy in the beginning because he was always, like, talking about how Tommy, like, thinks he's all this and that and whatnot. And when Tommy shifts the timeline so that Nick is married to Alex,
and then he gets Janine,
and, like, Alex is, like, talking to Tommy. She's like his best friend, I would say. And apparently that was from the beginning. We don't know what happened to Alex in the original timeline because they never talked about her, I guess.
Yeah, they never talked about Alex in the beginning.
Yeah. But, like, she talks to Tommy all the time, and, like, Nick is once again all jealous and stuff. And she's like, well, he's really insecure. He's not who you think he is. He was like, he had all this money.
Empathy for him.
She's like, he had all this
money.
He's
not just this rich kid that is okay.
If people liked him for him or just because they had money. He was like, Tommy, insecure.
Yeah,
he
what
would
does he
cry on your
need?
shoulder.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that was a really dick thing to say.
Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you pointed out because I remember I didn't think much of it except for the fact that I'm like, I understand why he would think that way because people all think that way of rich people all the time. But I'm like, all right, dude. I didn't think much of it as you said, but you're right. It showed something.
I mean, money doesn't solve all your problems.
Exactly. And I like that he clued into that and was like, you know what? I think you and Alex would be better suited for each other because she always had empathy and like she caring for you.
She noticed things that nobody else did
about Tommy.
Like, and he was like, I feel like Tommy probably was also
very insecure about his friendships.
He wanted to get Janine back, but I feel like he was also bitter about the fact that he lost his friend. Yeah,
because he was insecure about his friendships because he was the rich one. He never knew if everyone liked him because he had all this money. Or if they were just, they're really there for him. And so I like what Nick did in the end. It's like he recognized because of all the issues that were going on between him wanting to go back to get Janine and Alex and, because after a while, it's like they had a moment where they remembered when everything changed, but they had a moment when they remembered. But then all that would fade and then he just fell into the life with Alex. But something was off with him.
He was like,
it goes back to that cycle of love thing. But anyway, going back to what Nick did, I like when Nick decided to go back into the past and spend all his money. I like that he went back and spoke into Tommy. And he told him like a truth that he's like, yeah, it wasn't really about your money. It made him secure. It made him a happier person.
We're your friends because of you, not because we don't care about your money. We don't care who your dad is.
And that changed Tommy.
He did.
That changed Tommy.
He was not the CEO of his dad's company when he came back.
He wasn't like a prickish because Tommy was a little prickish, just a little bit. Not too much.
On his shoulder, but he had a reason for it. Nobody had told him that before. And you saw when he told him that on the beach, you saw his face
just change.
Like he needed to hear that.
Yes.
He needed to hear that because no one had ever told him that and he was never sure.
Yes.
And even like, he was like, oh, he knows that we liked him for that. He was like, are you sure? Because you always talk about Tommy like he was always this prick. So it doesn't really sound like you.
He didn't know. Yeah, exactly. And so that kind of thing, I just like that he went back and did that. He was really trying to make sure that
he did.
Alex and Tommy got together, but he repaired Tommy. He healed Tommy in a way.
He did, but I also like that he took personal responsibility.
Yes.
Because it wasn't just Tommy. He recognized that it was also in how he treated him. He was like, you keep giving and we just take. And that's how it's been. We don't acknowledge the fact that you keep giving to us these things and we just take. We don't offer really anything in return. Yeah. And it's like, thank you. Yes. Tommy had been a dick with the thing going back in time and stuff, but he wanted someone. Janine cared about him. He wanted someone who truly cared about him, and he wanted that back. And his friends are gone. Like, nobody stayed in touch with Tommy. Yeah. He lost all of it. A good everybody.
Point. That's why he wanted Janine back. Yeah, I just realized it while you were saying it.
He lost Nick. He lost the two random people.
Tate and Donna. He kept saying we didn't see really.
For him, it's like, oh, nobody really actually cared about me except for Janine.
No wonder he was always trying to get her back. Whitney, you better go with it. I just realized that in the past. I just thought he just wanted her back out of conquest and, male, territorialness. And, that's what I realized. He's like, I still love her. I want her back. But it's really because of that. He felt like she was the only one that cared about him and not his monies. I got it now. Yeah. Ooh, that's deep. Ooh, that's deep.
And it's so interesting because I feel like, even though it wasn't the original timeline, I felt like it was the best timeline when he went back and changed it.
Yes, it was.
Because when you, in the original timeline, Tate and Donna, I think it was, they were breaking up.
Yep.
But then when the timeline changes, they were still together.
They were having a family. Yes.
So it's like the timeline, he sacrificed, because he was miserable
he sacrificed
for a while.
Himself.
Because he hadn't met Janine yet, and that was his love. That was the person who was going to, his true love. So he hadn't met her yet. So he was miserable. His sister noticed it. Everybody could see it.
Yeah, that part I felt like was really that one was where I was like, man, this is really tough because he really looked like they kept saying in the movie that he looked like shit. And he really did look like shit. And I was like, dude, what happened? I was like, well, so you just sat in alone this whole time. Did you not allow yourself to love? I don't know what he did, but he just became this sad person.
Like maybe he didn't allow himself. I think maybe he was like holding out
for her. Yeah, and then the movie ends.
And then somewhere, even though he didn't remember it, like maybe somewhere in his soul, his psyche, somewhere he knew what he had lost. So maybe that was like, maybe the memory's gone, but somewhere he knows that there's something missing that he had before.
But honestly, I felt like he was preparing the way for him to meet Janine, because it's like, you have to meet her. That's the person you're waiting for. He just didn't know how long it was going to take, and he felt so lonely because of it. But I don't know why he himself did not feel, because you can have other relationships that make you feel fulfilled. Family, even if you're single and stuff. Sometimes you feel lonely, and then sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have your family and other relationships to not feel lonely with.
Sometimes you feel like a nut. And sometimes
oh my God, Whitney. That was great. So to me, I just didn't understand that part. I was like, what happened? But it was self-sacrificing, I think.
Yeah, and maybe he wasn't balanced, because sometimes people go from one extreme to another.
But he looked like he'd been in the trenches for a long time.
But maybe that was part of it. Maybe he fixed things for his friends, but he didn't then maintain his connections to them.
Yeah. And I honestly probably want to watch it again to go back.
It's interesting, because then how can
he was distant from all of them, though.
He changed the past, so it's like he wasn't exactly living it because he changed it, but apparently he did. It's like weird. Like the time travel thing makes it weird.
Yeah.
But it's like he didn't maintain those relationships, and that's why
even
Alex
miserable. Came back up to him and was like, I know you broke up with me, because that's one of the things Nick did. He went back in the past to break up with Alex to make sure that they didn't get together, because he knew that Alex wasn't the one he was supposed to be with in the future, in the timeline where he was with her.
And he knew that there was someone that she really truly connected with,
and it was
probably
Tommy.
Be matched.
Yeah, and they were good together. Yep, exactly.
And then he was happy, really happy.
Yeah. And I like that they went back and there was a healing of friendship love.
Yes.
There was a friendship love again with his sister and her best friend.
Yeah, I liked that, but that was, like you said, that was my favorite part of the movie. My favorite
healing
relationship.
Tommy.
Was the relationship between him and Tommy.
Yeah, that got healed, because they were not good.
Yeah.
They were not good. There was a lot of stuff that wasn't said. And then the whole thing of Janine coming in and they both had her. And it's just, but what I also liked was how they ended the film. They didn't end it like a nice, neat bow. Because you were seeing him come to this party at the end, and you're just like, he's just by himself again. Everyone's worried about him. His sister's worried about him. He's like, nobody, his friends are trying to get him to just come out and be out. And he didn't still see Janine at all. But for some reason, as he was leaving the party, he saw her.
He saw her.
She was taking pictures.
And then they make that eye contact.
And then
he starts to walk away again, but then he grabs the door jamb, he stops himself.
And then they just hover over him, and he's like, he did not leave. We don't know if he leave. And I think it goes back to that whole phrase about love. Is it says love is drawn in the form of a circle. No one knows where it begins, and it never really ends. And it's almost like it's circling back again. So it's like they were going to find each other, no matter all the stress they've been with. He was supposed to be with Janine the whole time. That was his person. And he's like, I could tell, I like that they didn't let us, be an exact thing. Normally I don't like that, but this time I do.
I liked it on both.
And it's like, he was going to go for her again.
Did something similar in Sylvie's Love, because they're like, we're
the circling back.
You circle back. And it ends when they're like, it doesn't show them getting married. I mean, they do show the pictures, of the after credits. They show the photos, so it happens. But both of these movies reminded me back to the final scene. Well, it's not even a scene. It's like the end card. They put up a card for Revolutionary Girl Utena, the series, not the movie, where Utena's talking.
And this is an anime, y'all.
To Anthe. And she was like, and someday, and then Anthe's like, someday. And you never actually hear the next line. You never hear either of them say it, but they just put up the title of the episode, which usually they'll have at the beginning, but they never showed it. It doesn't come up until the end. It says, someday we'll shine together.
I know, it's so beautiful.
It is so beautiful, but both of these movies remind me of that, because it took
was
a while for them
to
find each other, but at the end, it's not definite, but it's like, someday we'll shine together.
I know, and it's just love. Just love. I like that. I like these both iterations of them. I liked one more than the other one.
Agreed.
But
the themes
are very interesting. I would actually go back and look at Time Needle in the Time Stack again. I'm gonna try and get my sister to watch it.
I would too. Like, I loved, like, as a movie overall, I love Sylvie's Love more.
Yeah.
But the themes and the way they look at love,
it's so different
Needle
in both.
Is so interesting.
Yeah.
That it just,
and that's the genre
from a
helping
movie
it
overall, it's not. I don't think it's as good as Sylvie's Love, but from its themes, it's just so interesting that it elevates.
Yeah, to look at. So that's why I give the rating I'm going to give it, because I don't think it's as great a film as Sylvie's Love is. But these themes and things that we're talking about and that are in there, I thought were quite interesting. I just like how they did certain things.
Yeah,
that I was like, this is very unique to me.
It is, yeah.
Because I was surprised, and then I like that it's normalizing seeing all these different people. We're just people. Like, it doesn't matter what your color is and all that kind of stuff. It's not saying your color is not important. It's just like, you can be a representation for different people. Like, I like that we were seeing that. I like that it can say black love is ordinary.
Interesting that you say that color is not. You're not saying that color is not important, because I would actually say it's only because of the world we live in
that color is important.
That color is important.
But I'm just saying, I'm not trying to deny what you look like. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. No. I wouldn't say that, but I would say, like, it's more of our culture things that, like, really make us different or unique. Exactly. But, like, the color thing is really such a throwaway. It's only because people have, like, institutionalized racism. It's only a few things on the genotype, honestly. Yeah, exactly.
It don't make sense. You're right, and it's because the systems of the world utilizing it for its own gain.
Otherwise, it wouldn't really. I don't think it would really matter.
You're right. And it doesn't. That's what the point I'm trying to make is. It's just like, I'm not trying to say your color doesn't matter as in, like, the face of the world, but it shouldn't matter really. When you're talking about people and themes, it's universal. You should be able to see yourself or different colors in one film. And that's what I love this whole cast is you got 2 black people, you got an Asian sister, you got another side character who's white, another side character who's Indian, and they were all the main cast. And I loved it.
I loved it too.
And so what I got from this one.
Oh, sorry. Before you get into, like, I think you're going into the wrap up. It was also interesting to me in kind of a funny way. We meet Donna. We never see Tate.
Yes. That's what I said. You kept seeing Donna, but no Tate. And I was like, how come Tate wasn't in this? I really would love to ask the directors, like, how come you ain't show Tate one time? So I could see, because Tate, Donna was a Muslim woman, which I liked too.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, who's Tate? So I want to know who Tate, and they never showed him. So, yeah, we never got to find out who Tate was, who was apparently part of their group of friends. All of them. Well, Janine was, like, the only one that wasn't in there, and I'm not gonna lie, that was a point I would knock off a little bit, because I didn't like that I didn't see Janine anymore. I wanted to see her more.
That also makes me
she's
wonder,
so striking to me.
How did Tommy meet Janine?
Thank you.
In
we
the
don't
original
know.
Timeline. That makes
they don't show us. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a big thing, because I do like that. I don't need every single thing to be tied up for me, but I am interested as to, well,
yeah, we never explain it, because all we know is that Nick met Janine through Tommy, but we don't know how Tommy met Janine in the first place.
Yeah.
So, no, we don't know that. Maybe we can just imagine it. I could write up a fan fiction or something. Anyway, if Sylvie's Love is about black pain in any time black love in any time devoid of black pain, this one is about black love being ordinary, just there, just be displayed. You know what I mean? That's what I would say about Needle in the Time Stack. So let's get into the rating, unless you have anything else you want to add.
I would add that, like, Needle in the Time Stack is about black love in its different forms. Like, when you were talking about the Greek of, like, the eros and the familial, I would say this one is more about, like, the different
forms of love. We should have more words for love. We have a bunch of words for other stuff that we really don't need. English has a lot of words. A lot of words that mean the same thing. But yeah, so I give this movie 7 glasses. Damn.
I would give it, I'm giving it 8 glasses. Okay. Because the interesting, like, the way that they did the themes and the, like, interestingness of, like, the relationships that weren't the romantic ones, and the things like that just made it more interesting to me. Because if it weren't for that, yeah, it would have been lower. But, like, just how interesting to me the themes were. And the non-romantic love relationships, like Nick and Tommy, their friendship, or Zoe and her best friend. Friendship love, I think, was more prevalent in here.
You think so?
I think so.
That's a good point.
Like you said, you didn't see Janine that much through the movie.
So it wasn't a lot about like romantic, but the only thing was because he kept trying to get back to her.
So,
So that's the part about the black love,
but it wasn't really about it as much.
Yeah, I agree. But I like the sci-fi take. You know, I'm gonna try and watch it again to see if anything changes or moves me differently. But I'm glad we reviewed these. I'm glad we got to talk about black love.
Yeah, I like how different these were. I wasn't expecting Needle in a Time Stack to be what it was.
Me neither. I didn't know what to expect.
Very interesting.
Even the director says this movie is not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not like a main masses movie. It's just you got to watch it and take it for what it is. And I
Right.
like stuff like that. I like to you just present something to me. And don't be like, oh my God, this is what this is, to liken it to something else that I've seen already, you know?
I like how different these were.
Both of them are so different and so good. And I've been even talking about the music is so wonderful in Sylvie's Love.
Oh my gosh.
And then I like the cinematography in I like the cinematography in Needle in a Time Stack.
Right.
Yeah, it was very good.
Did have very nice cinematography.
And it had a few effects just to show the time lapse and stuff.
It was actually kind of cool. That kind of like ocean, like watching over you kind of thing.
And I heard from the director of Sylvie's Love was Eugene Ashe, and he actually like shot the film on a different it's called something called Super 16, and it was to give it a grainy feel to make it look like films from the past too. So a lot of stylistic things were in there for Sylvie's Love,
because it also it looked stylistically like that. It wasn't just like set in like the 50s and 60s. It also had the kind of film look of as if it were.
I remember watching, and I really when it came to Sylvie's Love, I really felt like it was so much. I keep talking about this movie Sabrina, but it's not the Audrey Hepburn Sabrina. It's the Sabrina with Susie Orman from the 90s and Richard Gere. I love the feeling that was in that movie.
Richard Gere, you sure?
It's Richard
Harrison
Gere.
Ford?
Oh, my bad. You're right. My bad. It is Harrison Ford.
Okay.
You're right, bro. Sorry. Harrison Ford and Susie Orman. That film, I always loved that film. I like the feeling that film gave me. And I felt the same feeling watching Sylvie's Love, because I was like, anytime Sabrina came on, I watched it over and over again. But I liked the feeling that I got, and I felt the same exact feeling, but I saw black people, and I liked that too. So, you guys, that was our take on Black Love and the two black films for the Valentine's season and the Black History Month season.
That's right.
All right.
Black love in here. Y'all have a wonderful Valentine's
So you guys,
Day.
happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers and those who are without love. I'm one of those. We love you. Okay. Have an awesome day, and stay tuned. We have other things coming for this month because we're gonna get more into Black History Month stuff and we got a special thing coming up for y'all. Okay.
All right.
So hit us back up. In the meantime, blurred out.
Blurring out.
Bye. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use and share the show with other blurreds and non-blurred family and friends. And if you like our episode, please rate and review us on iTunes.
The intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption, spelled CAPSHUN. The show notes are by Bola, Hanson, and the audio engineering is by Whitney Booker.
And you can contact us by email at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to get social, you guys. You can find us on our social media at Instagram and Twitter, with our @handle being @blerdtalkbw. And we've got our individual things going on too, y'all. So you can find me, your Blurred Fashionista, on Instagram and Twitter at BolaStoryB. That's B with 2 E's like the insect. And I've got my own personal YouTube channel, just Bola Sade. That's BOLASHADE. D as in dog, E as in elephant.
And this is Whitney. You can find me at my company, Luminavi Studios. The email address is wit@luminavi.com. That's WHIT@LUMENAVI.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Luminavi Studios.